The Podcasting Dead is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Make sure to subscribe for more podcasts. And while you're at it, drop us a like. If you want to help support the channel and have access to extra content, secret contests, and more, make sure to search for us on Patreon. Patreon.com/thepodcastingdead.
Okay, we should be back on regular schedule. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. Been off for the last week. I was on vacation, and then the week before that was JP's birthday, so we had a few days off, but now it's looking like the same old thing back in motion. So we're here to talk about episode 3 of season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead. And JP, I'm going to say I don't know that this episode for me was as good as the previous two, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, you were saying like same old thing. I kind of felt like that was Fear the Walking Dead this week. I mean, I definitely didn't hate it. I'm glad they at least, like, we got to catch up with Morgan a little bit, but then I was just like, I guess just Althea and, what's his name, Dwight, I guess just, like, the storylines I'm least, really involved with.
They kind of feel more like one-off storylines.
Yeah, man, I could, I don't know. I wasn't super into it, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I mean, no, and then we finally got to catch up with Sherry. I mean, gosh, that's been building for a while.
Yeah, and that seemed kind of weird. It's just like you said, they've been building for it since he came in like a season ago, and then it was just kind of like, oh, well, how do you like that? There she is. There she is. We found her.
Well, this episode was called Alaska, and it was directed by your man, Victor Strand, or as he's known as in real life, Coleman Domingo.
Yes. I did not realize that.
Yes, he is the one that directed this episode. And like I said, I'm glad to have finally caught up with Sherry. The whole thing to me seems kind of dumb, though. It's like, I've been leaving you notes, and I know she didn't necessarily know if he was following her or what, but I don't know. It's like, well, I mean, were you looking for him at all either? I don't know. The whole Sherry thing for me. And I think the thing that was the thing that I don't like about episodes like this one is like, oh, no, they've got the bubonic plague. Oh, no, Dwight's got the bubonic plague. Oh, wow, just, 30 feet above their heads, a whole crate full of the cure.
Yeah,
Problem solved.
We've got plague pills up here. Don't worry. We keep them on hand, beer and plague pills. Pretty standard stuff.
And I know they were saying it's like someone had infected them on purpose, and I get the whole reason why the antibiotics were up there and all of that, but to me that was just a little on the nose. And then it's like, I was thinking after the episode, man, how sad and tragic could that have been? Like, Dwight finally catches up to Sherry, but now he's dying of the bubonic plague. And I mean, I wouldn't have minded if they cured him down the road, but it just like, it was, I don't know, it was solved in the same episode. Like, I like Althea and Dwight's chemistry together. I like them together. I think they make a good team, just maybe in a different storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, it was all right. But
the whole Jenny thing for me is like, why don't you guys just go? You know what I mean? Is there an episode I missed where she put tracking chips in them or something?
Well, they're worried she'll retaliate by
against
killing,
the people.
Killing one of the people left behind.
But I mean, my God, just like, I don't know. You should have all just like had a plan. Like, yo, we're all going to escape. I don't know, man.
Wait till the next full moon and we're going to make a run for it or something.
But I didn't hate this episode by any means, and I didn't think it was bad. It just didn't hold my attention. I was flipping back and forth between that and the World Series Game 5. So, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, like I said, Dwight's whole thing with Sherry felt very anticlimactic, and Althea and her lady love, I would, they could have made out or something. That would have made it a little better, but
there's beer in the crate. Stay off this channel.
Right. So I don't know, man. I didn't feel super really invested or involved with much going on. The best part for me was the scenes from next episode. They look pretty
Looks like we're going to get an unhinged John Dory.
John Dory is going rogue. Morgan's made a hybrid with his staff and his axe. And
all life is precious. Psych.
Yeah.
I can chop your head off or stab you.
Yeah, so that looked pretty good.
Well, I got excited in the beginning because I thought they were going to do what they need to do, which was like show us a little bit of Morgan, show us a little bit of Dwight and Althea, maybe show us a little of Daniel or Strand, and then it's like we saw some of Morgan, and then it's like nope, now you're just back with Dwight and Althea. Like, I don't mean any offense by this, and I'm sure it'll piss some people off, but some of your characters, Fear the Walking Dead, have not been written interesting enough that I enjoy an entire episode with mostly, you know what I'm saying, with just them. Like, I don't get why, we're just now going to see John Dory when we're getting into the 4th episode. I mean, why couldn't we have had, like, different stories play? And I know that a 16-episode season, which is what they do, right? It's a tall order. I mean, I get that when you look at shows like The Boys are fantastic, but they only have to fill 8 episodes.
Right.
Game of Thrones only has to do 10. So I completely understand that. But, man, and we're going to talk about it when we do our World Beyond review. But we definitely finally got, after a long, what I consider to be boring-ass episode, we finally got some kind of more tie-in to what's going on with Rick. But we'll discuss that when we get to it. Did you stay after the episode to see the little bonus scene?
What, at the
after
end of
World Beyond?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, that was probably about the only part of that. We can go review it right now if you want. I really hate that show, but yeah, that was a pretty decent scene at the end.
It's just not getting me, man. I mean, it's just not.
No, it sucks, dude.
It just feels like Disney Channel. It's like The Walking Dead's now on Disney, and it's like that's what it feels. I don't.
And it's just more of the same, dude. It's just the same structured kind of show. Like, give us something like totally different. You know what I would love, man?
What?
I would love Chad Hardwick playing himself in a Walking Dead show. And I mean, obviously, like, he's just like a B-list, stand-up comedian trying to find work. Next thing you know, the world's ending. It's just Chad Hardwick in like a dark comedy set in the Walking Dead universe.
That
would be
totally
a show worth
rails.
watching. It's just something different, man. Just the same structure.
Well, it's the same structure, but it's
and this sucks.
It's just all about kids that like most of your audience probably are not in the age that appeals to. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get to that on that podcast. That's going to be a short podcast, I'm sure of it, because we've almost said everything there is to say about it.
Right.
But we'll have another one of that. I thought Fear the Walking Dead last night was a lot better than World Beyond.
Oh yeah, you're damn right about that.
Like I said, I don't dislike Althea at all. But I like her little spiky things. Those are awesome. Her little like punching spike things. Those are badass.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you though, kudos to Fear the Walking Dead. That's one thing I will give The Walking Dead, and I feel like most people would agree. Whether you hate any of the shows now or whatever, they do a great job of still finding ways to keep it fresh with the zombies. I mean, that embalmed zombie was freaky-ish.
Yeah.
Dude, when she come around the corner, I was like, is she a zombie?
I thought she was just drunk.
Yeah, I just thought she was like high or drunk or like just hadn't seen a person in so long. She's like, oh my God. But when you found out she'd been embalmed, I was like, dude, that was creepy as hell. I like that. So kudos to the team behind the zombie creation. I mean, and then we had the beehive zombie in 2 episodes back on The World Beyond. So, and then, in The Walking Dead, you're constantly having zombies growing out of trees or trees growing around zombies or zombies that are, so I mean, kudos to that. They do find ways to keep the zombies fresh. But I honestly, too, man, I was really bummed when we didn't go back to Morgan. Like, I'm really digging Morgan's story arc this season, and I'm very hopeful for next week, though. I mean, I've been saying for a long time. One of our longtime listeners, the Appalachian American, messaged me last night and asked had I seen the previews for next week's episode, and I was like, yeah. He's like, it looks like we're finally going to get that unhinged John Dory you've been talking about, and I'm like, dude, that's what I want.
Right.
Even if it takes killing June to do it, I won't, because John Dory has the potential to be a true force of nature. I mean, with his quick draw skills, and I mean, he's no slouch when it comes to combat. If anything, he's like Spider-Man. He's very hesitant. He's pulling his punches because he doesn't really want to hurt anybody. He just does what he's got to do to survive. I want to see a John Dory that's out for blood. I mean, even if that takes Jenya killing June, like, truly, I don't think it's going to happen, but my hopes are like John Dory goes rogue, does something, and then ends up Jenny kills June, and then John Dory's just out for revenge. You know what I mean? Like, I want Morgan and John Dory, a duo, Out for Blood together.
Yeah, I've seen enough of. We've got like 2 seasons worth of just the happy-go-lucky Sheriff Andy Taylor type of John Dory. I'm ready to see him just break
They need
bad.
to, man, because it's a waste of Gareth Dillahunt's acting ability. Gareth Dillahunt is a great actor. He really has mostly played bad guys. I'd say the majority of his career. Now, I'm sure he's got some work I haven't seen where he's done other. Most of everything I've seen him in, he's been a villain. Even tiny little roles. Remember that movie Looper?
I
Looper.
do.
Was it Looper where it was Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and you had to kill? I mean, John Dory was in that. Garrett Dillahunt was in the house. Remember the little boy when he started having his psychic powers and he had that one guy that was in there going to kill him and he slammed him on the roof? That was John Dory. Huh. He was just like a thug, like a bad guy. But then he was on Raising Hope, and oh my God, he was one of the funniest parts of that show. He showed that he was not just a villain. He's a versatile actor. And you're taking someone with that kind of acting ability and just giving him such a single dimension of he's just a happy-go-lucky, I don't want to hurt anybody's sheriff, but I'm secretly a badass, but all I want's a friend. No. And it don't have to mean he's like Morgan, constantly seeing red, but I want a John Dory with some purpose.
Yeah,
more purpose than I want to find the love of my life.
Yeah.
June.
But yeah, I think it would have been better if we had got a little taste of that this episode. Just Fear the Walking Dead needs to understand that you're not going to keep people tuned in with episodes dedicated entirely to these second-tier characters.
Right.
I mean, that's how you bleed fans out.
Well, and I think they think that that's how they will get you super invested in these characters. And it's dude, I always reference it, but take a note from Game of Thrones. That show had a character list that was humongous.
Right.
And you either loved or hated almost every character on that show because you spent time with them, but you didn't have to spend an entire episode with them. You might spend more time with them, but you were at least, by the time it was getting a little burned out, you were going to another story most of the time. And I mean, it's just like Theo. Theon Greyjoy.
Uh-huh.
His story to me was very interesting, but at the same time, it definitely had the potential to get very drug out. And I don't give a shit. What's Jon Snow doing? What's Arya doing? What's Sansa doing? But they would play. You'd see a little bit of his, and then boom, you'd be with Rob and his crew as they're out on the road. And I don't know. I just wish Fear the Walking Dead would realize we could grow on them. They would grow on us a lot better if you would just learn how to layer your episodes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like Althea. I like her character. I like the girl that plays her. Forgive me for not knowing her name. I used to because she was on Lost and was a completely different character on Lost. And I like her. And she was also on Taken. She was the daughter that got taken. But I don't know, man. I don't know that I like her enough to spend almost an entire episode with pretty much just her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I am, man.
And then like Dwight. I like Dwight. I do. I'm glad he's finally growing some facial hair back because, man, that whole clean-shaven look was not doing him any favors with that burnt face.
No.
My girlfriend doesn't really watch Fear the Walking Dead because it bores her, but she just was in there for a little while. She said, I'm digging Dwight's new haircut. I said, yeah, and I'm glad he's finally growing some facial hair back.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and before the episode, like I said, I was watching the ball game, but I flipped in commercial breaks to the last week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead. I love that ending, man, with Morgan and Daniel.
Oh, yeah, it was terrific.
And
yeah.
Daniel's like, you look like you need a haircut. And Morgan's like, yeah, I do.
And that was nice to hear in the beginning of the episode. Morgan's got his inside man, Daniel, pulling strings and smuggling him out, preserves and stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know Daniel and Morgan have a mutual respect for each other. I think Daniel, I like Daniel. I don't think ever will fully trust Strand.
No, it does tell you a lot that he wouldn't confide in Strand with his new strategy.
Which I find it weird. I was going to say, I find it weird that he wouldn't confide in Alicia, but I guess he feels like, Alicia and Strand are very close, and I trust Alicia, but there's just still no guarantee that information won't get to Strand. And then if Strand gets it, if an opportunity pops up where he might need to use it to his advantage, he probably will.
Yeah.
So, it was cool to see the trust he has with Morgan.
And plus, he's got to be so deep into character, that just you got to kind of stay in that lane.
Yeah, like I said, like we referenced, I think last week, talking about Rick in the All Out War saga in the comics, where he had everybody in Alexandria thought that Rick was seriously bowing to Negan, and he tells Andrea in confidence, "We're totally going to fight back. The only reason I'm doing this is I need these people to not know what's coming, so that they will. I don't want Negan catching any whiff." Of what's gonna happen, so I need these people to play the part, and the best way to make them play the part is to convince them that this is what we're doing. So you kind of have that with Daniel, like and like you said, you got to stay in character. I mean, if you start slipping with different people that you're not lost in your memories, then who knows? You'll be talking to Jenny and just accidentally let it slip. Right. Jenny's one of those villains, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that the actress is bad at what she does. I just don't really care about this villain whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get you. Like, her motives aren't. It's not something you're really invested in,
No, and I mean, like I said, I don't hate the actress by any means. I mean, I think she does good with what she's got to work with. It's just, but I'm really wondering how. I really feel like Fear, because it's so bizarre to watch Fear and know it's set so many years back, and they're talking about like the CRM, and to know that we're watching the world beyond, which is many years in the future, and it's the CRM. And I'm wondering if it's all going to tie together, like in the Rick movie, or it's all going to culminate to like the end of Fear the Walking Dead as they get carted off by the CRM. Like, with Althea constantly trying to get her beer lady, I'm wondering if it's going to come to a situation where she thinks they're going to reunite, and no, they're going to cart them away, and maybe she won't be okay with it, but she has to go along with it, or maybe her, it's Isabel, right? Is the beer lady?
I think so.
And it's like the CRM will realize what she's doing and make her set them up, and they're going to cart them all away, and then maybe all these years later, we'll catch up with them with Rick. If you could pick one Fear the Walking Dead character, I already know your answer, but I just want to see if you'll surprise me. One Fear the Walking Dead character who would end up teaming up with Rick in the Rick Grimes movies, or be it in the last season of The Walking Dead, however they're going to play it out. Which Fear character would you like to see do it?
All right, well, we'll just set aside Victor Strand.
That's
he's my favorite.
Yeah,
he's my favorite. So we'll take him off the board just to make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, obviously, I think we could all see, would love to see a Morgan Rick reunited, but since we've seen that before, Dwight, I could care less about seeing them two get together. I mean, not get together sexually, but teaming up, I could care less. Alicia, that would be all right. Rick always plays well off of a strong female,
True, he does. Mine would be John Dory without June. Like
that would be cool, yeah.
I would love John Dory to become Rick's right-hand man.
John Dory really is like the bizarro Shane. He's a former cop. He's a badass, but he's not,
unhinged
out of his mind.
In the way that Shane was.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see John Dory and Rick team up. That's my pick. But Alicia's a good choice, too. I mean, Rick does play well off of a strong female character, and Alicia's definitely strong despite her stupid I always called it a muffler, but it was pointed out to me that it was more likely, I think. Well, it was on the water park episode. It was like a heat shield off of like a machine gun, which I can tell you, I mean, that would have like bent and broke, I think, after the first time you planted it into a human skull. And then it's like last night's episode, Dwight runs up and just stomps that zombie's head like a grape. And I'm like, dude, come on, man, zombie. I mean, like, I get it, they're rotten, but I mean, think about it like this. I mean, look at the skeletons we find from thousands and thousands of years ago. I mean, they might have gotten a little brittle, but they certainly aren't soft. I mean, I don't know. Like, skulls just don't rot like skin does. And it's like, that's just me nitpicking, though. I mean, it's not, a detriment to the show or anything. It's just me nitpicking, because I've brought that up several times. I mean, i.e. Morgan stabbing zombies in the head with a blunt stick before he sharpened it.
Yeah. Yeah, what would be great to see, man, you're talking about John Dory teaming up with Rick. Like, they're teaming up, they become best friends, and next thing you know, Rick finds out John Dory's been sleeping with his wife.
Michonne?
Shane all over again, yeah.
Like John Dory.
Man, I just can't have a best friend.
Why can't anyone be a good friend to me?
Yeah.
Daryl tries to fight me every time I make a decision. Shane was banging my wife. Now you're banging my wife.
No, he's just the ultimate cuck.
Jesus. Althea, let me see your video camera.
Yeah.
If this going to happen again, I'm going to get some enjoyment out of this.
Officer Cuckold. Forget Officer Friendly. He's Officer Cuckold now.
Oh, man. But yeah, I would love to see a John Dory Rick team up. Like, I mean, I would.
That would be cool.
I think if they were going to end Fear the Walking Dead and they wanted to merge it into the Walking Dead universe, I mean, number one, they got to start killing off main characters. Where's Luciana? Have we seen her at all?
Nah, man. I don't know.
I forget she exists.
Did she stay behind at like the oil refinery?
I think so. I can't remember. Yeah, I think so. Like I felt bad. Like last night, I'm thinking about her, and I'm like, did she die? And I forget about it. But they're gonna have to start killing off some main characters. I don't think the whole Fear. Daniel and Rick would be a great team up too.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see as well.
I feel like Daniel's gonna end up dying though. He's been through a lot. He's old. I just feel like, and he's a badass. His age, doesn't hinder him whatsoever. But I feel like Daniel's going to eventually die.
I think they're setting up either him or Strand to get the axe.
Well, and it worries me with Coleman Domingo directing that episode, and I say that because a lot of times it seems kind of like a shark in the water. Once they get a taste for that director's chair, a lot of them just want to stay there. I mean, I could almost see Coleman Domingo, if he enjoyed that a lot, wanting to be written off the show so that he could focus on directing the show. Which isn't why they killed off Michael Cutlitz. But, he died and then came back and directed an episode. And I would like to see him direct more episodes. It's just cool to know when you're watching it, he was behind the camera. But so he's still there in spirit. But no, I would like to see a John Dory. I'm telling you, John Dory is my favorite character who's not my favorite character. It's hard to explain. Like, the potential of John Dory is my favorite. I love the gun. I mean, I like gunslingers anyway. I've always been a fan of Westerns and the gunslinging and stuff. And I love, I love the idea of that. Even my zombie story that I never will get published that I started like 12 years ago, there's a gunslinger in it. And it's seriously almost the same deal. He wasn't a cop, but he was in a traveling show, which I actually do know a guy in real life. He lives in Lynchburg, Virginia, who travels and does like quick shot shows and can do all the wild, like from the hip, like crazy accuracy and all of that. So people like that do exist. And that was kind of my deal with this guy. And then in half the story, he's in character. And then you finally start breaking through to the real him because he just he can't do what he does if he's not in character. Yeah. But, so I like John Dory. I remember getting excited, not even knowing it was Garrett Dillahunt when the season, 4 trailer hit, and it was showed a gunslinger, and I was like, dude, we got a gunslinger. Yeah. Hell yeah. And then I found out it was Garrett Dillahunt, and I was even more excited. And then, he's had his moments, but just overall, it's been like, man, you took the most badass potential character and gave him the softest storyline. Yeah. But, yeah, I would like to see John Dory and Rick team up. So, I mean, I feel like that's the way it should go. They should start killing off some characters, and then they should take the last few, and at the end of the show, they should get carted off to the CRM headquarters as, I guess, A's because they haven't been bitten, whatever. And, then they end up catching up with Rick in the future. Like maybe they're already there. I don't know. But, I mean, it'd be nice to see one of them make a cameo. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that the Walking Dead writers could do that would really throw us for a loop. Like in The World Beyond, show us an older Alicia or an old Victor Strand. Yeah. And not really, don't give us out the gate context on how he got there. And I'm sure someone would say, well, then he survives the show. Okay, well, they already tell us when people are going to die and when they're not, you know what I mean? I.e. Daryl and Carol. And some people have said it's going to take place in the 6 years between them, but then I've read that it's not. It's going to continue after the show. And it's, The Walking Dead's never been too shy about telling you it's Rick Grimes' final episode, Michonne's final. They're going to start doing that crap for like side care. Father Gabriel's last episode. So, I mean, I would just stuff like that would get us talking. It would connect the shows. It's exciting. It leads to questions and discussions. Like, that's the kind of crap. You've got this, your own little mini version of the MCU, this like connected universe that you can play. I mean, that's what Marvel did. I mean, Iron Man would show up at the end of, the Hulk movie with Edward Norton, or was it Samuel L. Jackson showed up in his house? Whatever. I mean, you had these characters crossing over into other movies, and it just got you, even just for a scene, and it got you so excited and so pumped up. Like, I mean, that would be so awesome if, like, they go somewhere, and then it's like, out comes a graying Victor Strand.
Right.
Hi, children. I'm Victor Strand.
I would love an old
and I
man
can help
strand.
you to survive.
Yeah. That would
But
be
yeah.
beautiful.
But yeah, so let us know your thoughts. I mean, even though it sounds like we're negative Nancy's, I don't think either of us hated this episode. It's just when you compare it to the two before it, it still was better than a lot of crap last season. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But compared to the very good, I mean, I dare say like both the first and second episode of the season have been great. I mean, when you compare them to what we've had to deal with in terms of Fear the Walking Dead, great episodes. And this one was just kind of okay.
Right.
But we've got to rate it. So put your hand under the table and bring it up. Well, out of 5 stars. Hold up the fingers to correlate. Ready to go.
I'll give it like a 2.
I gave it a 3. JP gave it a 2.
Yeah.
So you give it a 2 out of 5. I do a 3. Yeah. So next week's episode looks great.
It does, man. I'm looking forward
Unhinged
to
John
next-
Dory.
yeah.
I'm excited. What do you want to see the most out of next week's episode?
I want to see John Dory as a ranger, just for whatever reason. I hope we get a lot of Victor Strand. I hope Morgan and Daniel, we get some more scenes between them.
We did see Victor Strand say, "If you go down this path, there's no turning back,"
Yeah.
or something like that. If you
As
go
he
down this road,
unbelts his robe and it falls to the floor.
It's like, that would have been awesome in the trailer. It's like, if you go down this road, there's no going back. And then you see Daniel go, "Shut up, Strand," and then just like the robe drops.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The twist you didn't see coming.
I think some homoeroticism could really help the show.
Daniel would be like, "The only reason I ever hated you is because I love you so much." Oh, I remember you.
Oh, man.
But let us know your thoughts. Let us know maybe some things. I mean, I know we didn't really talk as in-depth with this episode as we have other episodes, but I mean, it's kind of an open and shut story. They go into a hospital full of people that have the bubonic plague. They make it to the top of the hospital, and there's the cure to the bubonic plague, and all problems are solved. And, oh, yeah, Dwight got back with Sherry.
Yeah, very convenient.
So, yeah, that was kind of the episode in a nutshell. But let us know your thoughts, and if you are only tuned in for the Walking Dead episode-by-episode coverage, I guess we'll see you next Monday when we talk about Fear and the World Beyond again. If you are a fan of podcasts in general, don't forget we have Weird Wednesdays where we talk about paranormal or conspiracy-type topics, and then on Fridays, we do Walking Dead What Ifs, and we also have a Patreon page that will give you an extra 8 podcasts a month for as little as $1. So check that out. Secret contests and more, as that guy said at the beginning. But in the meantime, we'll see you soon. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.